Hello, I'm Robert Baug. You are watching a channel about proper nutrition and health. In this podcast, I will talk about the mistakes that most people make in their diet on our planet. Please like and write comments if the podcast was useful for you. Let's go. What is healthy eating? Healthy eating is not only an individually tailored diet based on your tests, genetic traits, and existing illnesses, but also a way of life in general. A diet found on the internet is not healthy eating, it is a hit-or-miss method. Nowadays, healthy eating and proper eating are often confused. The so-called proper diet that does not take into account your individual characteristics. A person thinks they are following a proper diet, but if you analyze their diet, it becomes clear that there is no talk of any proper diet. Of course, a person will not feel any improvements or changes in their body. Often, we wake up and drink coffee with a pastry, then eat a complex lunch on the go, consisting of 4 dishes, and come home, and here comes our long-awaited, heaviest, and biggest meal, dinner. Such a dinner will lead to a feeling of bloating, gas, heaviness, and can also lead to poor sleep. The occurrence of diseases such as hypertension, cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, allergies, eczema, varicose veins, and dermatitis depends directly on the food, its composition, and quality. Many mistakenly attribute this to genetics. Yes, it is our genetic heritage of errors in nutrition, which is laid in childhood. Today we will talk about the main mistakes that most people make. The first mistake is a lack of clean drinking water and an excess of sweet drinks in your daily diet. Symptoms such as migraines, constipation, joint pain, dry skin, and dry mouth are all signs of a lack of clean drinking water. Modern people drink a lot of different drinks: coffee, sweet tea, cappuccino, cocktails, juices, carbonated drinks. But all these drinks have acidic pH and positive ORP, which our cells perceive very poorly. We must drink enough clean drinking water to maintain all biochemical processes in our body. If there is not enough water in the body, dehydration of all media occurs. As a result of this, pathological inflammation processes and the proliferation of conditionally pathogenic flora occur, which ultimately leads to a decrease in our immunity. A person with insufficient daily water consumption risks dehydration, slowing down all processes in the body, slowing down liver metabolism, obesity, chronic fatigue, headaches, and joint pain. The minimum volume of drinking water per day is calculated using the formula of 30 milliliters of water per 1 kilogram of weight. You can drink more than this volume, but less is not desirable. If you are overweight, orient yourself towards your ideal weight and do not necessarily drink the full amount of water based on your excess weight. The second mistake is an excess of refined carbohydrates. Never in human history has a person eaten as many carbohydrates as they do now. Of course, we are talking about refined carbohydrates, which include white flour, sugar, white rice, all baked goods, pasta, and bakery products. There are too many of these products in our diet. Every day, when you eat refined carbohydrates, your blood receives a large amount of sugar. In order to cleanse the body of sugar, your pancreas produces insulin. A large amount of insulin in the blood leads to an even greater craving for refined carbohydrates, which in turn will cause insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, type 2 diabetes, obesity, hypertension, cardiovascular diseases, and degenerative diseases, as well as depression and nervous disorders. Try to clean up your diet as much as possible from refined carbohydrates. The third mistake is consuming harmful or inflammatory products. Surprisingly, many of the products that are part of our daily diet have an inflammatory effect on our body. What are these groups of products? The first group is sugar and sugar substitutes. It is no secret that pure white sugar is harmful to our health, regardless of the form in which it is consumed, be it regular cane sugar, coconut sugar, or beet sugar. The biggest myth is that our brain needs sugar, when in fact it needs glucose, which our body can obtain from any carbohydrates, such as grains, vegetables, fruits, and berries. Therefore, there is no need to justify sugar consumption with the fictitious myth of its benefits for our brain. Moreover, numerous randomized studies confirm the link between sugar consumption and the development of cardiovascular diseases, atherosclerosis, obesity, type 2 diabetes, psoriasis, and other skin diseases. As for sugar substitutes and fructose, they are just as unsafe as sugar. They disrupt our gut microbiome and carbohydrate balance. Many people nowadays use various fruit syrups, such as agave syrup and Jerusalem artichoke syrup, as a substitute for sugar. Unfortunately, not many people know that the amount of fructose in these syrups is even more dangerous for our body than pure sugar. Our body cannot process fructose into an energy source. The liver is responsible for processing fructose, which is why an excess of fructose, which is more than 25 to 30 grams per day, leads to chronic hepatosis, fatty liver, insulin resistance, and gout. Therefore, we should not idealize fructose, whether it is synthetic fructose or fructose found in fruits. Even its amount needs to be strictly regulated. Studies also show that fructose causes inflammation in endothelial cells that line the walls of our blood vessels. This is why fructose is also one of the causes of cardiovascular diseases. The next group of inflammatory products are trans fats. This includes margarine, all industrial baked goods, fast food, and popcorn. How are trans fats created? They are made by adding hydrogen to liquid unsaturated fatty acids. Trans fats increase inflammation levels in the body, which in turn raises the level of active protein targets and triglyceride levels. Foods with these fats are particularly harmful to our heart health. The next group of inflammatory products is pasteurized dairy products. Unfortunately, most of the population consumes milk, but 65% of them have either primary or secondary lactose intolerance. This means that sooner or later, you will not be able to digest dairy products well enough. Your intestines are not able to produce the digestive enzyme lactase, which is involved in the processing of lactose, the milk sugar. If you experience symptoms such as bloating, gas, discomfort, heartburn, dizziness, headaches, rash, acne, or dryness after consuming dairy products, you need to eliminate them from your diet. Additionally, we should remember that pasteurized milk contains almost no beneficial nutrients. They are artificially created, and essentially, we do not get the quality protein and fats that we could get from raw milk. If you are not ready to give up cow's milk products, then at least replace them with goat or sheep milk. This type of dairy product contains a different type of casein, A2 casein, which does not cause inflammatory reactions in the body. The next group of inflammatory products is processed meat, which includes various types of sausages, smoked meats, and semi-finished products. These products have a high content of end products of glycation. What is it? It's when a sugar molecule and a protein molecule oxidize. They have strong inflammatory effects on the body and are also a cause of cardiovascular diseases, atherosclerosis, and there is a proven link between consumption of processed meat and cancer of the small intestine. The next group of inflammatory products is alcoholic beverages. Let's not look for any minimal benefits because there are practically none. After all, alcohol is a harmful substance for our body. The main damage that any alcohol causes is its effect on the intestinal mucosa. Over time, the intestinal mucosa becomes irritated and various toxins, allergens, viruses, and bacteria can pass through it into the bloodstream, which of course affects our immunity and the level of inflammation in the body. If the consumption of alcoholic beverages becomes constant, then you constantly maintain the level of inflammation in the body, which sooner or later will lead to chronic diseases. And we are now moving on to the fourth mistake that most people make, which is snacking or eating on the go. Many people do not eat at the table. We open the fridge, eat on the go, we have candies, cookies, bars, and gum lying in our bags. And instead of a full meal, we stuff this into our mouths. The main reasons for snacking are the lack of eating culture and, surprisingly, anxiety. Food is the fastest and easiest way to calm down. Very often we use food as a tranquilizer. We constantly eat something and don't notice how many calories we consume. Most people don't even realize it. And when you ask how many times a day they eat, many say,
"I eat 3 times a day."
But when you ask them to write down everything they've eaten over the past day, people are surprised to find that they eat a lot of things in addition to the 3 main meals. My recommendation to you, write down everything you eat for 3 days, and you will see what the reason for your excess weight is. The fifth mistake that almost all women make is dieting. Never go on diets. Of course, in the short term, they may lead to weight loss, but unfortunately, it will be very difficult to maintain that weight loss. Start thinking globally. Don't think about needing to lose 5 kilograms. Think about how you need to change your lifestyle, what deficiencies to address so that the weight never returns. It's not worth subjecting your body to even short-term stress, as your body will remember this, and when you return to your normal eating routine, it will store calories as a reserve. Start working with a specialist, study your body, check inflammation markers, check deficiencies in vitamins and minerals. Start working on them, and you will be surprised how your body will thank you. Of course, these are not all the mistakes we make, but start with these simple and basic ones. Unfortunately, eliminating these mistakes won't lead to long-term health restoration results, but it would be a good start. Subscribe to our channel to learn about healthy eating and health.